Lena knocked twice, like she always does when she comes early. I was fixing the back door hinge. The house was quiet. My wife was out for a short drive. That was the phrase she used now. Lena stepped in with a paper bag and a quick smile that didn't reach her eyes. She set the bag on the table and took out pastries. She asked me if I had eaten. I said yes. She laughed and said I always say yes. I made coffee and didn't talk much. She filled the space with small things. That's her habit. Last Thursday at Rook's, she said, tearing a croissant. You should try their lemon tart next time. I looked at her once and nodded. You liked it. She liked it more, Lena said. She caught herself. I mean, we liked it. I poured coffee. You two went there Thursday? She swallowed and nodded. Yeah. After her appointment. She said the dentist took all afternoon, I said. My voice didn't change. It did. We went after, she said. She picked up her phone. I think I took a photo. The lighting there is terrible but the tart is good. She scrolled. I watched her face, not the screen. She found it and turned the phone, then pulled it back a little, like she had second thoughts. I saw enough. A corner of a mirror, a sleeve of a coat I knew too well, and a man's shoulder partly cut off on the edge. The sleeve was my wife's. The shoulder wasn't mine. Lighting is fine, I said. Looks bright. She locked the phone. You know how phones are. Sure. She changed the subject and talked about her car. I let her. People move to safer ground when they feel the floor shift. Mr. Ortiz came by with the cable I lent him. He waved at Lena and thanked me for the cable. He's the kind of neighbor who notices weeds and license plates without trying. He set the cable on the counter and tapped his temple. Memory, he said. Then, saw your car up on Riverside yesterday. Busy strip. There's that old motel and the gym and that notary with the busted sign. They should fix it. Riverside's crowded, I said. Crowded, he agreed. Thought I saw your wife across from the gym. Hard to tell, long coat, same color as hers. She was with a guy who held the door like a valet. Lena stared at her coffee. I kept my eyes on Mr. Ortiz. Must be a lot of coats like that. Sure, he said. Just strange seeing that car there. Didn't think you two liked that side of town. He shrugged. Anyway, thanks for the cable. When he left, Lena said she had to go too. She forgot her phone on the table and reached back for it, hands shaking more than she wanted. She put the phone in her purse and forced a calm smile. Tell her I stopped by. I will, I said. She left. I stood at the table and looked at the spot where the phone had been. The sleeve in the mirror, the shoulder cut off, the word Rooks in her voice, the dentist story, the car on Riverside. These were not big things by themselves. Together they made a shape I didn't like. My wife came home 30 minutes later. She set her keys down and said the store was out of decent apples. She asked where Lena went. I said she brought pastries and left. My wife looked at the bag and said it was nice of her. Did you go to Rook's with her last Thursday? I asked. She blinked once. We talked about it, but she was busy. Why? You said the dentist ran long. It did. We didn't go. She took an apple from the bag and turned it in her hand like she was checking it for bruises. You want to go tonight? Maybe. She bit the apple. What's with the hinge? She asked. Still catching, I said. She nodded and went to the sink. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She didn't take it out. At 4 I stepped outside to check the gate latch. Mr. Ortiz was watering the strip of dirt by his steps. He looked over and said the gym on Riverside changed their hours. I asked how he knew. He pointed at a flyer he picked up at the bodega. On the back someone had scrawled a name and number. People write anything anywhere, he said, amused. He handed me the flyer. The number matched the pattern I'd seen before on my wife's screen, minus 2 digits I wasn't sure of. I folded the paper and put it in my pocket. At 5, Tara stopped by. She's my wife's friend. She talks fast and tells the truth on accident when she's nervous. She brought a scarf my wife left in her car and asked if she was around. I said she was inside. Tara smiled too much. She called into the house, brought your scarf from Tuesday lunch. The word hung there. Tuesday lunch was supposed to be a dentist appointment. My wife came out, took the scarf, and hugged Tara like she was holding a fence post in a storm. Where'd you go? I asked Tara. Rooks, she said, then looked at my wife and changed it. No, I mean, someplace near there. Quick. My wife said, we didn't eat. We just grabbed coffee. She said it with the confidence of someone who rehearsed the line. Coffee's food now, I said. Tara laughed too hard. My wife didn't. Tara left in a rush. My wife closed the door and set the scarf on the hall table. You're quiet, she said. Working on the hinge. You're always working on something. It keeps things from catching. She watched me for a long second and gave up. I need to pick up a thing from the notary, she said. You need anything while I'm out? Bring me a pen, I said. She nodded, looked for her keys, found them fast, and left. She didn't ask which notary. There's only one near the gym. I drove to Rooks and stood across the street. The hostess knows me just enough to wave and not ask questions. I asked if they had a table for 2 last Thursday around 5. She checked the book. We don't keep names on that side table, she said, but there was a couple at 5:15. He had a jacket with a gym tag on the zipper. She wore a long coat. She looked at me like she wanted to be helpful but not involved. You want a reservation for tonight? Not tonight, I said. On my way out, I looked into the mirror by the entrance. It's the same mirror from Lena's photo. Same glare, same corner. I could see how a half-cropped shoulder would land if someone took a quick shot. Rooks prints receipts with time stamps. I asked the hostess if I could see last Thursday's register for 5 to 6. She said no. That was fine. I didn't need paper. I needed faces. I went to the gym on Riverside. The desk guy was new to me. I described the man, dark jacket, carries himself like he owns mornings, drives a silver sedan with a dent on the back left. The desk guy grinned. James, he said, like it was obvious. Harper. You a friend? Something like that. You looking to leave him a message? Not today. I looked at the corkboard and the pushpins and the ads. I looked at the door and the sidewalk and the window across the street that reflects faces. The desk guy followed my eyes and shrugged. People leave notes, he said. Not my business. Same, I said. Outside, I called Lena. She picked up, voice tight. Hey. You and she went to Rooks last Thursday, I said. Silence. Then, we talked about it. You took a photo. I take a lot of photos. You took one with a mirror. She exhaled. I don't want to be in the middle. You put yourself there, I said. One question, was she alone with him at any point? Lena's breath snagged. I thought it was harmless. I thought she needed to talk to someone. I didn't know it would get this far. Who is he? I don't know his last name, she said too fast. Then, quieter, James. Thanks. She started to apologize. I ended the call. I don't need apologies to do work. I went home and sat at the table. I wrote 4 lines on a card. Rooks, Thursday, 5:15 p.m. Riverside Gym, James Harper, silver sedan, dent back left. Notary across from gym. Tara, Tuesday lunch. My wife came in at dusk with a notary envelope and a pen. She set the pen on the table like a prize. I turned it in my fingers. Cheap barrel, blue cap, the kind they leave out by the door. She looked at the card. I slid my hand over it. "What's that?" she asked. "Shopping list," I said. "Since when do you write shopping lists?" "Since today." She nodded and went to the sink. "Dinner out?" she asked. "Sure," I said. "Let's try Rooks." Her hands paused under the water. She turned off the tap, dried them slow, and looked at me. "Rooks is loud." "We'll talk loud," I said. She put the towel down. She forced a smile. "Another night." "I'm tired." "Another night," I said. She went to the bedroom. I stayed at the table with the pen. The house felt full of people who weren't there, Lena with her phone, Mr. Ortiz with his memory, the hostess with her book, the desk guy with his casual grin, Tara with her scarf and the wrong words. That's how the truth came in, through other mouths. I didn't chase it. I stood still and let it hit. I picked up the phone and called the number from the bodega flyer. A man answered on the second ring. "James?" I said. "Who's this?" he asked. He sounded rested. "Wrong number," I said, and hung up. I put the pen back in its place. The first move was done. The next ones would not be quiet. I started with Lena because she was already halfway in. I called and asked her to meet me outside the pharmacy by Rooks. She showed up fast, coat half-zipped, eyes already apologizing. "I don't want to be involved," she said. "You are," I said. "I'm keeping it small. I need 2 answers. No speeches." She nodded. "First, did you ever tell her I was suspicious?" "No." "Second, did you tell anyone else about Thursday?" "Tara," she said, and swallowed. Just that she looked happy. "I didn't say who with." "Then don't. From now on, if she asks what you told me, say I asked you about a tart and you changed the subject. If Tara asks what I asked you, say nothing. If James asks you anything, tell me." She flinched at the name. "I don't know him." "You know enough," I said. "You saw him." She closed her eyes once. "I saw a man." "Good. Keep it that way." I handed her a sealed envelope. Inside is a schedule with 3 blanks. Give it to her in 2 days and tell her I left it for her, by mistake. Say you didn't look inside. She'll look. The blanks are harmless if she's clean. They're loud if she isn't. What are the blanks? Places where she told me she was with you, I said. You do not fill them. You say you don't remember. Make her choose which lie she prefers. Lena held the envelope like it was hot. You're going to blow up her life. She already did, I said. I'm just removing the quiet. I left her there and crossed to Rook's. I asked the hostess about the corner mirror. We're thinking of moving it, she said. Too many people taking pictures. Leave it, I said. It's honest. She didn't know what to do with that. I thanked her and left. I walked to the gym on Riverside and put a card on the corkboard, lost, Thursday 5:15, if this is yours, you know what it is. No number. No name. I pinned it at eye level and stepped back. The desk guy smirked. You two fight? He asked. Never, I said. I went across to the notary and asked for a pen like a man who needed a form. The clerk with the square glasses said they were out. He looked nervous in a way that had nothing to do with pens. James around? I asked, casual. He doesn't work here, the clerk said too fast. I didn't say he did, I replied. The clerk adjusted his glasses. He helps sometimes. Deliveries. Tell him someone left him a note at the gym, I said. No name. The clerk nodded like he wouldn't, which told me he would. Back on our street, I caught Mr. Ortiz sweeping his steps. He looked me over like men do when they're deciding how much of the truth they can carry for a neighbor. You said you saw my car up on Riverside, I said. He nodded. Thought so. You remember the time? He looked at the clouds like they had clocks. Sun was high, Jim was busy, so, lunch time. Maybe one. She wore the long coat. You see the man's face? Profile, he said, and drew a line with his finger. He laughed at something she said. Quick. Like a man who laughs a lot. You get any part of the plate on his car? I asked. He grinned, pleased with himself. 2 letters, H and R. And a dent on the back left. That helps, I said. One more thing, if anyone asks what we talked about, you tell them I borrowed a rake. He tapped his temple again. Memory. He turned to go, then looked back. She's not afraid of you, he said, like he'd been considering that. So don't give her a reason to be. I'm not the one handing out reasons, I said. I called Tara next. I asked her to meet me at the bodega near her work. She showed up in 10 minutes, breathless, eyes bright from wanting to fix something. I don't like what's happening, she said. You helped it happen, I said. Small ways. You can help the opposite now. I didn't know, she said. You knew enough to hide it under friendly noise. I didn't raise my voice. Here's what I need, when she tells you I'm acting strange, you agree. Then you ask her if she wants you to cover for her Thursday or Tuesday. Not both. Watch which one she saves. That's cruel, Tara said. It's simple, I said. Cruelty is what comes after lies. I'm keeping it before. She looked down. What do I say if she gives me a name? You say you don't want names, I said. Then later you tell me the name. Tara's jaw tightened. You'll use me. You've already been used, I said. This way you get to decide what for. I gave her a printed sheet with 3 columns, date, her alibi, and a blank for what actually happened. You fill nothing, I said. You just keep it. If she asks, say I left it in your car by accident. She'll know you're circling, Tara said. She already knows, I said. I'm teaching her what the circle includes. On my way home I stopped by the community office where an elder I respect, Thomas, handles building complaints. He's not a priest. He's a man who signs forms and doesn't talk much. I asked him to notarize a simple statement for me, nothing dramatic, just dates and the fact that I had reason to separate finances for now. He read it, looked at me, and signed without comment. He slid the paper back like a brick being placed where it should be. He didn't ask for a story. I didn't offer one. At dusk, I texted my wife, dinner at home. Lena might stop by later. She replied with one word, okay. I put 2 glasses on the table and waited. Lena arrived with the envelope I had given her, tucked into her purse. She looked pale. My wife hugged her and thanked her for pastries from earlier. They sat. I made tea because coffee sharpens people and I wanted the opposite. Lena kept glancing at me. My wife picked up on it. What's wrong? She asked. Nothing, Lena said. I forgot I had something for you. She pulled the envelope and set it near my wife's elbow. He left this with me by mistake. My wife looked at the envelope like it could bite. What is it? I didn't open it, Lena said. My wife waited for Lena to look away, then slid a finger under the flap and pulled out the paper. 3 blanks in a grid. Thursday evening, Tuesday lunch, and 1 Saturday morning. No names, no accusations. Just open spaces staring back. What is this? She asked me. Shopping list, I said. She gave me the look she uses when she wants to warn me to stop. I didn't move. Lena sipped her tea and stood up fast. I should go, she said. Stay, my wife told her, voice too sweet. No, Lena said, and left. After the door closed, my wife set the paper down face down. You went through my things, she said. I wrote a list, I said. You're making me feel watched. You already are, I said. By him. She didn't answer. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. She didn't take it out. We sat there with the buzz still in the room. I stood. I'm inviting a few people for dinner this week, I said. Thank you dinner. Ortiz for the cable, Tara for the scarf, your sister because family is family. No, she said. Yes, I said. We'll eat here. We'll talk about small things. We'll keep it light. She stared at me. Don't turn them into this. They already turned themselves, I said. I'm just setting the table. She went rigid. If you embarrass me. I won't, I said. You will. She left the table and went to the bedroom. I heard her open drawers and close them softer than usual, like she was trying to move without sound. I took my jacket and stepped outside. Mr. Ortiz sat on his step like a man who owns his evening. He lifted his chin. How's the hinge? Moves, I said. Everything does, he said. Then, after a pause, you want me there for dinner? Yes, I said. I'll bring the ladder you hate, he said, which meant he understood. I went back in. My wife stood in the hallway with her coat on. I need air, she said. Riverside has plenty, I said. She flinched. Don't follow me. I don't need to, I said. After she left, I walked to the gym again. The card on the corkboard was gone. The desk guy whistled without looking up. Fast, he said. Who took it? I asked. He shrugged. People take things. I crossed to the notary. The clerk with the glasses looked relieved and scared at the same time. He slid a folded note toward me across the counter like we were in a movie I didn't want to be in. He said to give you this, the clerk said. Guy with the silver sedan. The note said, we should talk. Name a place. J. I folded it and put it in my pocket. Tell him the place is my table, I said. Thursday. 6. There will be witnesses. If he's busy, he can send the pen. Tara called the next morning before sunrise. You can't do this dinner, she said. Her voice was hushed, like she was hiding in her car. She's scared. She should be, I said. You'll ruin her. She already ruined what mattered. I'm just letting the rest catch up. Tara sighed. She said you've been talking to people, Lena, Ortiz. She said you're setting her up. I'm giving her an audience, I said. Truth sounds better when people hear it together. She hesitated. You know James will show. I know, I said. He won't know why yet. I hung up. I didn't need more noise. The house smelled like last night's tea. I left it that way and went to the shed. I checked the boards and the clamps, like a man checking if the world still obeys the rules of pressure and release. It did. At noon, I went to the hardware store. Mr. Ortiz was there, buying light bulbs. He nodded at me. Big dinner tomorrow? Depends on how you measure big, I said. I'll bring pie, he said. Cherry. People talk more over pie. You're right, I said. Bring two. He smiled. And the ladder. That night, Lena texted, she's asking questions. I told her nothing. I replied, good. Tell her I canceled the dinner. She'll know you didn't. She's supposed to. I called Tara next. Tell her Ortiz isn't coming, I said. Make it sound like you're doing her a favor. She'll invite him herself, Tara said. Exactly. By 10 that night, my wife asked if we could make it just family. I said, sure, invite who you like. She smiled the practiced kind of smile, the one she uses when she thinks she's getting ahead. I cleaned the table and put out 5 plates, me, her, Lena, Tara, Ortiz. I left a 6th empty plate at the end, no chair. The next day moved like a slow truck in deep mud, every hour loud, every minute thick. I went to the notary office at noon with the note from James. The clerk was gone. A woman at the counter looked up. Are you the one from yesterday? She asked. I might be, I said. He said he can't make dinner, she said. Sends apologies. Said it's better to keep things private. I nodded. He'll change his mind. She frowned. Should I tell him that? No, I said. He'll hear it anyway. At home, my wife was in the kitchen, arranging plates. Ortiz said he can't make it, she said, like she was breaking news. He'll come, I said. He just doesn't like to RSVP. Don't push this, she said. I'm not, I said. I'm just not moving out of its way. At 6, the doorbell rang. Tara came first, carrying a bottle of wine and a face full of nerves. You're sure this is a good idea? She whispered. No, I said. That's why it'll work. Lena arrived next, pale but composed. I brought salad, she said. Good, I said. It's always better when something's fresh. My wife came out of the kitchen, all smiles. Everyone's here, she said. Almost. Almost, I agreed. At 6:30, the knock came again. Mr. Ortiz stepped in, holding the pie box and his ladder, both like gifts. Didn't want to leave it outside, he said. Ladders walk off. My wife froze for a second before she forced a polite hello. He set the ladder by the wall and took a seat. Dinner began quiet. Plates passed, forks clinked. My wife kept the talk bright, work gossip, weather, recipes. Tara nodded at everything, eyes on her wine. Lena ate without tasting. Ortiz waited. Halfway through the meal, Ortiz cleared his throat. Funny thing, he said, casual as rain. I saw your car again on Riverside. Same spot. Thought maybe you were visiting that notary again. My wife stiffened. I wasn't on Riverside. Lena's fork paused mid-air. Tara sipped hard. Ortiz shrugged. Must have been someone else. Same color, same dent on the bumper, though. I looked at her. You said you fixed that dent. She stared at her plate. I meant to. Hard thing to forget, I said. Tara coughed. Maybe it was another car. Maybe, Ortiz said. Plenty of cars. Hard to miss the silver sedan parked behind it, though. Lena looked at me, pleading with her eyes. My wife said nothing. I reached for the wine, poured myself a small glass, then looked at the empty plate at the end of the table. He was supposed to be here, I said. Who? Lena asked, though she already knew. The man with the dent, I said. My wife's hand shook around her fork. You invited him? I did, I said. He declined. Said it was better to keep things private. Thought I'd honor that. That's his seat. The room went quiet. The clock ticked like it was enjoying itself. Ortiz looked at her kindly. You know, sometimes people park where they shouldn't. But twice in 1 week, same car, same company. That's not a coincidence. She stood up fast. I'm not doing this, she said. You already did, I said. She turned to Lena. You told him. Lena shook her head. You told yourself, she said softly. My wife looked at Tara. You too? Tara looked down. You needed someone to cover, not to protect you, she said. I leaned back. I wanted everyone who built the story to hear it collapse together. Saves time. She glared at me. You think you're in control? I know I am, I said. You're the one who keeps checking for exits. She glanced at the door. Then at the window. Then back at the table. Sit down, Ortiz said quietly. You'll want to finish what you started. She sank into the chair. The room exhaled with her. I poured her a glass of water. Drink, I said. You'll need a clear throat for what comes next. She looked at me like she finally saw the shape of the trap. I saw the moment she realized every word since Thursday had been a test she'd already failed. The pie sat unopened in the center of the table. Ortiz reached for the knife. Cherry, he said. Best when it's still warm. No one moved. I cut the pie myself. The sound of the knife against the tin was too loud, too final. Cherry filling bled across the plate like a red line someone forgot to draw last week. Nobody reached for a fork. I slid a slice to Ortiz, then Lena, then Tara. My wife kept her hands folded tight, fingers white. You think this means anything? She said. A car, a story, a picture? It means enough, I said. She laughed once, dry and sharp. You're pathetic. You needed an audience to feel right. Not right, I said. Just done. Ortiz took a bite of pie, slow and calm. Sometimes a man needs people around to make sure the story doesn't change again. She turned on him. You don't even know us. He chewed, swallowed, and nodded. That's true. I only know what I see. And what I saw wasn't the kind of conversation a married woman has in daylight. She pushed her chair back. I'm leaving. You won't, I said. Her eyes flicked to me. You going to stop me? No, I said. But you'll wait, because if you walk out now, you'll have to explain why to people who already know the reason. She sat again, slow. The silence held. I put my fork down. You think I want to yell? I don't. I want you to understand something simple. The truth doesn't need volume, it just needs witnesses. She looked at Lena. You betrayed me. Lena shook her head. You did that first. You could have kept quiet. I tried, Lena said. But he didn't ask for lies. You did. My wife's breath trembled once before she steadied it. You planned this. I measured it, I said. Planning is guessing. Measuring is proof. Tara wiped her eyes. Please stop, she said. Ortiz stood. I'll get the ladder from the truck, he said. He left without hurry. He understood timing. I turned to my wife. You can go when he gets back. Until then, I want to hear your version. No tears, no stories about loneliness. Just what happened. You'll twist it. I'll repeat it, I said. She looked at her hands. It started simple. He helped with a form. We had coffee. Then? She looked up. You stopped talking to me. I stopped listening, I said. Different thing. She blinked. He listened. He had reasons, I said. I have them too. She shook her head. You're cruel. No, I said. Cruelty would have been letting you think I didn't know. The door opened. Ortiz stepped in, ladder in hand. Forgot the wrench, he said. You can go now, I told her. She stood. You think this will make you clean? I don't think about clean, I said. I think about done. She walked to the door, stopped, turned. You're not who I married. You didn't marry who you thought, I said. That's on both of us. She left. The sound of the latch was the last part of the conversation that made sense. Ortiz leaned the ladder against the wall. You sure you don't want to talk? I've talked enough, I said. He nodded. Then you'll want this. He handed me a folded printout, a still frame from his home camera that looked down the street. Saw something last night. Figured you should see it. It was grainy but clear enough, her car, parked 2 houses down. A man leaning on the passenger door, profile turned just enough to see the jawline, the jacket, the gym tag. James. The timestamp said 11:27 p.m. Thanks, I said. Ortiz nodded once and left. I went to the spare room, turned on the small lamp, and set the printout beside the note from the notary. 2 halves of the same sentence. One said he wanted to talk, the other said he already had. I wrote a short message and pinned it on the corkboard in the kitchen where we keep reminders. Thursday, 6 p.m. Dinner was step 1. Step 2 is silence. Then I took out a clean card and drew a small grid. Friday, deliver copy of photo to Lena. Saturday, slip note under Tara's door, he's lying to both of you. Monday, stop by notary with Ortiz's picture. Ask who delivered paperwork that night. Tuesday, let silence work. Revenge isn't noise, it's patience that looks like calm. At 10, I went to bed. The house smelled like cherries and lies cooling down. Friday morning was clear enough to see the frost on the porch boards. It cracked under my boots when I stepped out. The kind of sound that says something's finished. I drove to Lena's house. She came to the door wrapped in a blanket, still half asleep. I told her everything, she said, before I even opened my mouth. She came here late last night. I know, I said. She parked 2 houses down. I saw the picture. Lena rubbed her eyes. She wanted me to tell her what you're planning. I said I don't know. That's the truth, I said. Nobody knows until it happens. I handed her a folder, inside, the photo Ortiz gave me. Show her this only if she comes again. Tell her I left it by mistake. Don't say anything else. Lena looked at the image and flinched. He's right there. She'll see it. That's the point, I said. You'll see what she does next. I left before she could ask questions. At the bodega, Tara waited in her car, engine running. I got in the passenger seat. She didn't look at me. She's unraveling, Tara said. She called me 3 times since last night. Says you're trying to humiliate her. I'm trying to make her remember, I said. Humiliation's just the part she earned. Tara handed me a small envelope. She asked me to deliver this to you. Said she doesn't want to see you face to face. I took it, opened it. Inside was a photo from a trip to the canyon years ago, me and her, standing at the edge, smiling like we thought the ground couldn't move. On the back, she'd written, "You don't have to destroy everything." I folded it once and slid it back into the envelope. She already did. Tara bit her lip. You really don't forgive? I remember, I said. That's worse. People make mistakes. She made a choice, I said. Mistakes don't last this long. Tara sighed. she'll come apart. You know that. That's not my problem anymore, I said. But it might be yours. She blinked. What does that mean? You'll see, I said, and stepped out of the car. Saturday, I left the note under her door, 5 words written in the same even hand I used for grocery lists: he's lying to both of you. No name, no signature. I knew she'd read it and tell my wife it came from someone else. That's what liars do, they outsource guilt. By Monday, the phone stopped buzzing. She didn't text. Neither did Lena or Tara. Silence sat heavy but clean. I spent the morning fixing the back door hinge for real this time. When I turned the screw, it tightened smooth. Around noon, I went to the notary. The clerk with glasses wasn't there, the older woman from before was. I set Ortiz's photo on the counter. He was here Thursday night, I said. She looked at it. I remember him. Came in quick, handed over a manila envelope, left without saying a word. Had that look people get when they know they're being watched. He deliver anything for James Harper? She frowned. You mean Mr. Harper? He hasn't been around since Friday. The boss was asking about him. Said he didn't close a file he was working on. What kind of file? She hesitated. A notarized property transfer. Said something about family separation paperwork. But it wasn't signed yet. Whose name was on it? I asked. She checked a small ledger. Harper brought it in for your wife. Funny coincidence, huh? Sure, I said. Funny. I left before she could ask my name. That night, my wife came home quiet. She looked around the kitchen like it wasn't hers anymore. Where's the picture? She asked. What picture? The one Lena had. You think I wouldn't find out? You think I didn't want you to? She stepped closer. You're sick. No, I said. You are. You just thought the symptoms were love. Her voice cracked. You want me to suffer. I want you to see, I said. Same thing. She dropped her bag. I told him it was over. Good, I said. Now tell him it never mattered. I mean it, she said. It's done. You said that last Thursday. She backed away. You don't understand. I understand enough, I said. You used him to feel something. He used you to see if he could. You both got what you wanted. Now you both get to live with it. She stared at me. What are you going to do? Nothing, I said. That's the part you'll remember. She laughed once, a sound more like breaking glass. You think silence is punishment? It's the only kind that lasts, I said. The doorbell rang. She jumped. I opened it. Ortiz stood there with his ladder. Forgot my wrench again, he said. Leave it, I said. You'll need it later. He nodded, eyes flicking to her, then back to me. You good? I'm working, I said. He left. My wife turned toward me. He knows. Everyone knows, I said. They just stopped pretending not to. She sank into a chair. You planned this whole thing. I shook my head. No. You did. I just took notes. The clock ticked steady. Somewhere outside, Ortiz's truck started. She covered her face with her hands. You'll never get over this, she said. I already have, I said. You're the one who still has to. She didn't answer. She didn't have to. That night, I took the signed property transfer from my desk, the one Thomas notarized, and added a line, contingent upon full disclosure. I sealed it, left it on the kitchen table, and went to bed. When she found it in the morning, she'd know exactly what it meant. When she found the envelope, I was already gone. I parked by the river, same place I sat weeks before when I first called that number. The water was thin with frost, slow and gray. I watched it move without hurry and thought about how quiet looks like peace until you listen to it too long. By the time I came home, she'd opened it. The letter sat on the table, folded and refolded like she wanted to change what it said. Her eyes were red but dry. She held the page in one hand and the pen I'd asked her to bring from the notary in the other. "You can't mean this," she said. "I do. You want me to tell them everything? Lena, Tara, my family? That's the deal. You get the house if you do. And if I don't? Then you still get it," I said. "But it'll come with the silence you made." She dropped the pen. "You're not a man anymore." "I'm what's left after one breaks," I said. "You think this is revenge?" "No," I said. "Revenge needs fire. This is a ledger." She stared at me. "You used everyone, Lena, Tara, Ortiz." "They used themselves," I said. "I just stopped giving them a reason not to notice." She walked to the window. "James called me this morning. He's gone. He said I made him lose his job." "Then we're even," I said. "You lost something too." "What did I lose?" I looked around the room. "Witnesses." I left her standing there and drove to the notary again. The same woman was at the desk. She looked up, nervous. "I didn't tell anyone," she said. "I know," I said. "Did James come back?" "No. The owner left a note. Said if he shows, to tell him the police want a word. Something about forged signatures." I nodded. "Good day for honesty." She frowned. "You're not involved, are you?" "Everyone's involved," I said. "Some just sign slower." Back home, Tara's car was parked out front. She was pacing, smoking one of those thin cigarettes she lights only when she's afraid. She told me, Tara said as soon as I got out. About the letter. About the condition. I figured she would. "She's a mess. She says you'll ruin her family. I'm just giving her a choice. She decides what's worth keeping. You can't just walk away like this." "I already did," I said. Tara looked at me, really looked, like she wanted to find something human left. "You still love her?" "I loved who I thought she was," I said. "Turns out that woman was good at hiding. She said she wants to fix it. She can't. She's terrified," Tara said. "Good," I said. "Fear's honest. Love wasn't." She shook her head. "You sound like a stranger." "I am," I said. She made sure of that. Tara dropped the cigarette, crushed it, and walked away. She didn't say goodbye. That night, Lena called. "She's telling everyone," she said. "Your condition, the letter, everything." "Good," I said. "She's crying, saying you're trying to destroy her." "I'm not," I said. "I'm letting her finish what she started." "She won't sign," Lena said. "She doesn't have to. Talking does the same job." The next day, Ortiz stopped by. He handed me my own note, the one from the corkboard. "Found this in the street," he said. "Someone dropped it." "You keep souvenirs now?" I asked. He shrugged. "Sometimes. Thought you'd want to know it worked. That man came by asking questions about you. Wanted to know if you still live here." "What did you tell him?" "Nothing. Just that some people don't look back when they drive away." "Thanks," I said. He nodded toward the house. "She's still inside?" "For now." "She won't stay," he said. "She will until she decides what's worth the key," I said. That evening, I found her sitting at the table with a blank notepad in front of her. Her phone was beside it, dark. You told them, I said. She nodded. All of them. Even my mother. And? She cried. Then it worked, I said. She looked up at me, and for the first time in weeks, her eyes weren't angry, they were empty. Do you feel better? No, I said. But I feel finished. She stood, tore the notepad page in half, and dropped it into the sink. You win, she said. There's no winning here, I said. Just ending. She walked past me to the door, paused, and said, You'll be alone forever. I was alone the minute you lied, I said. She left. I didn't follow. The next morning, I woke to sunlight and quiet. On the table sat the signed letter, notarized. She'd gone early, maybe to deliver it herself. Beneath her signature, she'd written 2 words in small handwriting, I remember. I folded the paper, put it in the drawer with the old receipts, and closed it softly. The house felt lighter, not healed, but emptied, like the air after a fire has gone cold. 3 days passed before I saw her car again. It was parked across from the old market, clean and out of place among the dusted trucks. She sat inside, engine off, hands still on the wheel. She didn't come up to the house. Just watched. Then she drove away. That was her goodbye, the kind you give when you've said everything wrong already. By then, word had done its work. The silence I left behind started to echo in other people's voices. Tara stopped by the hardware store where I still helped some days. She stood by the counter with a bag of screws she didn't need. Everyone's talking, she said. About her. About you. About how it ended. Let them, I said. She looks hollow, Tara said. She told her family. They won't speak to her. Then they finally believe her, I said. Tara nodded slowly. James left town. The notary office said he's under review for forgery. Some woman came in looking for him, yelling. She said she lent him money. He always borrowed, I said. She wanted to know if your wife was still with him. She isn't with anyone, I said. That's her punishment. Tara hesitated. And yours? Remembering, I said. She exhaled. You could start over. I did, I said. You're looking at it. Tara shook her head, left the screws on the counter, and walked out. That night, Ortiz knocked again. He carried a small box, inside were 2 sets of keys. She dropped these by my step, he said. Didn't say a word. I looked at them. Front door and the shed. She didn't ask for anything back, he said. She won't. He studied my face. You're calm for a man who lost a wife. I didn't lose her, I said. I just stopped keeping what wasn't mine anymore. He grunted. People will talk. They'll say you drove her out. I gave her the map, I said. She took the road. He nodded. Well, if you need anything, tools, a hand. I've got both, I said. He smiled a little. That you do. When he left, I went to the kitchen, opened the drawer, and laid the keys next to the letter. The sight of them together looked like a full sentence, 1 key to leave, 1 key to remember. The next morning, Lena came by. She looked different, tired, older, quieter. She's staying with our mother, she said. Says she can't sleep. Keeps the TV on all night. She'll get used to it, I said. She keeps asking why you didn't yell, why you didn't throw things. Because noise fades, I said. Silence stays. Lena nodded. She told me you were right. About what? That she chose it. I said nothing. She also said you scared her, Lena said. I didn't touch her. I know, Lena said. That's what scared her. She handed me an envelope. She wanted you to have this. Said it's the last thing. I opened it. Inside was a single photo, her wedding ring sitting on a kitchen table. Not ours, her mother's. On the back, she'd written one word, kept. Lena waited for a reaction I didn't have. You won, she said. No, I said. I just stopped losing. She nodded, left, and didn't look back. That evening, I drove to the notary one last time. The same woman at the desk smiled awkwardly. We finished your paperwork, she said. Transfer complete. I signed where she pointed. Your wife already signed, she said softly. She looked different. She is, I said. The woman slid the final copy into an envelope. You don't need to come back. I wasn't planning to. Outside, the air smelled like rain that hadn't started yet. I watched it build on the horizon, the gray rolling in like a promise. When I got home, I placed the final papers on the table where everything began. The grain of the wood had a small stain, a dark mark from a tea spill months ago. I touched it and thought of her laugh, the real one, not the practiced kind. For a second, the house felt like it remembered too. Then I turned off the lights and sat in the dark. The silence wasn't heavy anymore, it just was. That's the thing about revenge done right, it doesn't shout. It waits, breathes, and when it's over, it leaves you exactly where you started, only quieter. The first real rain came that week. It hit the roof in slow, uneven patterns, like the sky was thinking about what to say before it said it. I left the windows cracked to hear it better. The house smelled of dust and wet wood, honest smells, the kind that don't pretend to be something else. I spent that morning going through what was left, 2 boxes of her clothes, a drawer of photographs, and one broken mug she used to say was her favorite. I didn't throw anything away. I just packed them neat, labeled the boxes with one word each, passed, proof, done, and stacked them by the door. At noon, Ortiz stopped by again. He had no ladder this time, just a look like he wasn't sure what to do with his hands. Heard she left town, he said. She did. You keeping the place? For now. He glanced at the boxes. You ever think about what comes next? I already lived it once, I said. Now I just live after. He nodded slowly. Quiet life. That's the point, I said. Ortiz hesitated, then reached into his coat. He pulled out a small envelope. She sent this through the post. Addressed to me, but it's for you. Said you wouldn't open it if it had her name. I took it. Thanks. He left without waiting for questions. I opened the envelope at the table. Inside was a folded note and a small flash drive. The note said only, "You should see the truth from the other side." I plugged it into the laptop. There were 3 video files. The first showed her sitting in a car, talking to herself, tears, anger, rehearsed apologies. The second was shorter, her standing outside her mother's house, holding the signed papers, saying she'd told them everything. The third was just silence, a recording of the empty kitchen at night, the one she left behind, the faint sound of the clock ticking. At the end, her voice, low and clear. I know you won't forgive me. I don't need you to. But I hope when you remember this, you see that I stayed until you stopped needing to hate me. I closed the laptop. The house didn't feel smaller, but it didn't feel mine either, not completely. Revenge has that cost. You finish the math, and what's left over is the part you never get back. That evening, I drove to the river. Rain still fell in slow sheets, soft against the windshield. I parked by the same spot I always did. The water was higher now, restless, hitting the rocks like it wanted to clean them. I took the flash drive out, held it for a while, then dropped it in. It vanished fast, no splash worth remembering. Back home, I called Thomas, the elder who'd notarized my statement. He picked up on the second ring. "You all done with that business?" he asked. "Mostly," I said. He was quiet for a beat. "Then take down what you built. You keep a wall up too long, it starts keeping you in." I didn't answer. He wasn't wrong. That night, I sat at the table and wrote a list on a clean card, the first one in weeks that didn't start with her name. Sell the truck. Fix the shed roof. Give Ortiz the ladder back. Don't look for her car again. I placed the card under the magnet on the fridge, next to the old receipt from the day everything started. The numbers were fading now, the ink bleeding where steam from the stove had touched it too many times. I stared at it until the rain stopped. The quiet that came after wasn't heavy anymore. It didn't accuse or remind. It just existed, like air or light, something you notice only when it's gone. And for the first time since that morning with the receipt and the cold engine, I realized I didn't need to measure the silence anymore. It was mine. The next morning, sunlight came through the kitchen window in straight, clean lines. The air was still cool from the night rain, but the house felt different, lighter, less cautious. The boxes were gone. Ortiz had taken them to the donation center like I asked. He didn't say a word when he came by, just nodded once at the open door, and left it that way behind him. I made coffee for one, same as always. Only this time, I didn't set a second cup on the other side of the table. That space stayed empty, and for the first time, it looked right that way. By noon, I drove out toward the edge of town, the long road that runs along the ridge. I hadn't been there since the day she told me she needed space. Funny how people ask for space only when they've already filled someone else's. The fields were yellowing, the last of autumn drying up into winter. I parked near the overlook where we used to stop on drives, back when small talk still covered everything that mattered. From there you could see the river, bending wide and slow, catching light like a blade laid flat. I got out, stood with my hands in my pockets, and just watched. Somewhere across that bend, she was probably starting over, telling her version of things, leaving out the parts that didn't fit the story she could live with. Everyone does that. My phone buzzed once. A message from a number I didn't recognize. "You were right about silence." No name. I deleted it. The lesson wasn't mine to repeat. On the way back, I stopped by the notary one last time. The desk was clear, no clerk, no chatter. Only Thomas sitting in the corner, waiting for someone else. He looked up and gave a small nod. "You finish it?" "Yeah," I said. "It finished itself." He studied me, the way old men do when they've already heard the answer in your voice. "Then leave it buried," he said. I signed one last form, the title transfer, my signature final this time. The house was legally hers now, under the condition she'd already met. That was the last knot untied. When I got home, I took the spare key, the one she'd dropped at Ortiz's step, and hung it on the wall hook by the door. Not as a memory, just as an object. A piece of what happened, nothing more. I made dinner simple, beans, bread, water. Ate in silence. The clock ticked, the roof settled, and the world stayed in place. Afterward, I walked out to the porch. The sky was dark enough to show the first few stars. The wind moved through the trees in a slow, steady breath. I listened. No voices. No phones. No lies vibrating in another room. That's when it hit me, not the relief, but the absence. Betrayal leaves behind something heavier than anger. It leaves emptiness shaped exactly like the person who caused it. You can't fill it. You just learn to walk around it. So I did. I locked the door, turned off the lights, and sat by the window one last time. The house didn't look wounded anymore, it just looked still. I thought of her face that final night, no shouting, no tears, just the realization that I had already gone quiet on her long before she knew she'd lost me. That's what real revenge looks like. It isn't fire or fury. It's walking away so completely that the echo of your calm becomes the loudest thing they hear. The rain started again, faint and slow. I listened until it blended into the dark, then I stood, stretched my back, and said, just once, to the empty room. That's enough. And it was. If you want more stories that spark your imagination, subscribe to the channel and come back for the next chapter. There's always another tale waiting.